a 6-gallon water heater that runs off of engine coolant. I work on a boat in Alaska during the summers. That was actually one of our regrets with rebuilding the interior. So we were in the Jeep until my wife was 8.5 months pregnant. Hey guys, my name's Jim. This is my 1987 Jeep Comanche, and I'm gonna show you guys around. So this is the little kitchen area that we've got going on. We have a lagoon table that can slide out and rotate so we can get a couple people sitting around it. We got our sink with our faucet and our drinking water. So a little extendable head so you can stick it outside if you want to take a little shower out there. We wanted a pretty deep sink so we can, pile up our dishes and stuff, and it actually worked really well for storing some pots and pans and soap and stuff like that while we're driving. Got a little 2-burner stove. It's pretty sweet, works pretty well. And the whole kitchen was actually redesigned when I first built the Jeep. We had a totally different layout. We had a little Camp Chef stove oven that was super awesome. We actually really missed that. We took it out because the oven versus storage, there was this big debate, and that was actually one of our regrets with rebuilding the interior, was getting rid of the oven. The next rig we build will have an oven again. We got lots of storage underneath the sink here. We use these little baby magnetic locks to open all of our drawers. We have a trash can. We'd keep our little broom and some cleaning supplies under there. Moving over a little bit more, we have an 85-liter Snowmaster fridge, which is humongous. People always comment about how big this thing is, but we love it. Yeah, we keep enough food for a week, 10 days, 2 weeks, something like that. It's got 2 compartments, so it's got a freezer and a fridge, and it worked really well. Definitely big fridge people, and that's gonna be something in the next rig as well, as we'll have another really big fridge. Moving a little bit farther over, we have another drawer down on the bottom underneath the fridge. Works for some more storage stuff, and then all of these little drawers over here where we kept our pots, pans, cooking utensils, and whatnot. So we got 3 drawers all along here. Over in the corner here, we've got 2 little magnetic strips. We'd keep some knives and a metal spatula. We always cook with cast iron, so all of our utensils and stuff are magnetic, which is really nice. A little basket for keeping some spices and seasonings, whatnot. One of these paper towel rollers that's got a little click so it doesn't just unroll while you're driving. Super awesome. All of our windows in the kitchen area are made by Arctic Turn, and they can latch open or close, hold open. They've got a built-in sunshade as well as a bug screen. We really like those a lot. Lots of options with using those guys. So on the passenger side of the Jeep, we got this nice long bench, kind of a little lounge area when we're hanging out inside. Put some pillows and prop yourself up. Got another big window. This one's super nice for getting a big cross breeze through the Jeep or passing things in and out. The bench is primarily storage. We moved the cushion here, and we've got 2 big containers here. Mostly kept like dry food and some camping supplies and stuff in here. Easy to access when you're cooking. This forward bin here is mostly taken up by a 10-gallon water tank. We have a 10-gallon on each side of the Jeep. Kind of wanted to keep the weight as far forward as possible. So it's mostly water tank, and then I would keep all of my spare parts and tools and stuff. It's a Jeep, so lots of spare parts is kind of key, unfortunately, but that's how it is. A big thing with the Jeep, and a thing that I get a lot of questions on, is the pass-through. That was kind of a big undertaking with building a truck like this. And it's super nice. It's actually, I'm a pretty big guy. I'm 6'4", and so I don't use it a lot, but we have a bunch of dogs that we found while we were traveling, and they go in and out so the dogs can sleep in the front of the truck. And then if we had like a duffel bag or sleeping bags or whatever, once we move into the back of the truck, we can easily throw them up into the seats. And so having the pass-through has been super, super nice. Built some little curtains on a rod to kind of give us a little bit of privacy and block out the light from the front there, just like that. So I guess the story of the truck started out in about 2019. We were living in Boise, Idaho. It wasn't a super good fit, and we didn't really know where we wanted to end up with our lives and where we wanted to settle down, quote unquote. we decided to build out a camper or a van or something and travel around for a little while and see where we liked. I had a bunch of Jeeps growing up in high school, so I was kind of familiar with them, and they're pretty cheap and easy to work on. So we ended up buying a Jeep Comanche. The whole engine blew up on the drive home, so I had to buy another Jeep and combine the two of them and make it into one that worked. Yeah, we were gonna originally put a four-wheel camper on the back of it, but reading lots of reviews or kind of getting discouraged about the quality and reliability and whatnot. They're also way overpriced for what you get, so decided to build our own pop-top camper, and it was quite an adventure. I had some fabrication experience previously from college classes and hobbies and whatnot, but I wouldn't say that I was a good welder when I started, but by the end of it, I feel like I'm pretty adequate at sticking some metal together. So built the box, and yeah, we drove around in it. Started in Alaska, where I work, and we drove all the way down to Baja. And then COVID hit, which was, as I'm sure you guys are aware, quite the fiasco. So we were kind of stuck not traveling for a little while, and then we had my wife got pregnant, so we decided we needed to find a spot. We moved to Bend. Still couldn't find anywhere to live, so we were in the Jeep until my wife was 8.5 months pregnant, and then we luckily got into a rental right in time, and our son was born, and here we are. Moving into the back of the Jeep, we've got this nice long L-shaped bench here. It's another nice spot to kind of lay out in the bottom of the Jeep here. They're all of these are cabinets, hinged with lots of storage. We'd keep all of our clothes and more camping gear and snow gear and stuff like that in all of these cabinets. 1, 2, 3 for storage. We also got these little pouches here, throw like dog leashes and cell phones and stuff like that in there. We have a switch panel on the wall here. This controls all of our electronics. So it's got light switches and our fan, our water tanks, heater, fridge, blah, 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 all the fun stuff. Right there, kind of a cool little switch. Moving over here, we got our swing out table that I talked about earlier. It's pretty nice. We can sit in the corner here and have the table usable for a couple people. In this cabinet here, we have all of our electronics and our water heater and our heater and our inverter and whatnot. So have kind of a false floor in here so we can keep some shoes and smaller items, and then we can delve farther into the abyss. We have a water heater. It's a 6-gallon water heater that runs off of engine coolant. So anytime we're driving, it heats up 6 gallons of water to something like 180 degrees or whatever your coolant's running at. And then it has a mixing valve. So as you're using hot water, it's actually mixing it with cold water. And then you end up getting like 9 or 10 gallons of hot water, which is pretty nice. You can take a shower and do dishes and all of that stuff. We got a 1500 watt inverter, which is pretty much great for us. We just charged cameras and laptops and stuff. We really hardly ever used it. Farther in, I got a couple batteries. I originally built it with a 100 amp hour battery, just built it myself by ordering the cells. And it worked really well for us when we were driving a lot, but in the later months of living the year, we were doing a lot of just parked and in the forest with a lot of shade, so we weren't getting quite enough power, so I added in a Battleborn. So now we have 200 amp hours of power, and that's seemed to be just plenty for us. There's also a fuse panel in here that connects with this switch. It's kind of like an all-in-one unit, so you can just plug everything in. It was super simple and easy. We also have one of those Chinese diesel heaters, which has been super awesome. There's a lot of forums online that talk about them. I know they're kind of finicky to work with. We did have to replace the fuel pump, but I just bought an S-bar fuel pump, and that combined with the heater was still like 1/10 of the price of the S-bar heater, so it worked out pretty well for us. The neat thing is that you can custom tune these heaters with the controller panel. So we were camped up in Colorado, super high elevation, and the heater wouldn't fire up, and I was able to go in and change the air to fuel ratio and got it going again. So we stayed warm that night, which was super nice. It's all of our like utilities cabinet down in here, kind of stealthy, hidden away. Yeah, the canvas, we got a lot of questions about where we got it and how it was built and all this, and that was probably the most difficult part about building this camper, was getting the canvas done. I built the whole truck in my driveway, and by the time we departed, I drove up to Alaska and I didn't have a canvas built, and I met a shop up there, and they told me they could do it, and it was this whole dramatic thing where I dropped the truck off, and the canvas got built, didn't fit, we had to take it back. We ended up living in their shop for a few days while they worked on it, which in the end it was super awesome. They were really good to us. But you got some questions about it. It's made out of Sunbrella, so it's UV resistant or UV proof or whatever. And it actually insulates really well. It doesn't have any quilting or anything, but we stay really, really warm in the truck. We camp down to like 10 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're pretty comfortable. Got separate windows we can open here like this. And then we also have these shades here that can unroll and Velcro up and block out all the light. Makes it nice and dark inside. So I really like having a pop-up with the canvas. It makes it feel like you're more in that camp style setting versus having a hard top. But I know there's pros and cons to both of them. So this is the route we went with this time, and we'll see what happens next time. Yeah, the Sunbrella is all waterproof, so we don't have any issues. We've had a couple leaks with where water gets in between the screen and the window, and these little ties are connected. It's leaked a few times, so we'll just take some super glue and put a couple drops on there, and it seems to seal it up. So we haven't had any major leakage issues, knock on wood. It's all been good, but it's all very weatherproof. One of the big things about this truck was having a nice big sleeping area. So our bed's actually up top here. I can lower it down. It's almost a queen size width. It's like halfway between a full and a queen, but it's extra long. It's about 7.5 feet long. Just really nice for me being so tall, and especially with the wedge shaped camper. Yeah, you can hop up and take a look at it here if you want. All right, so this is the sleeping area. Like I said, it's almost a queen width and extra long, which is really nice. We can throw extra blankets and pillows down at our feet, or a dog can lay down there. I've got these fun little fairy lights glued to the ceiling, give a nice little romantic ambiance. Super nice to have the bed up here. There's still enough room down below that you can kind of move around. You can even cook a little bit. And living in such a tight area, it's really, really nice to have kind of this separation. You know, one person could lay up here and read a book or whatever, while the other person's laying down below or cooking some food. Just give a little privacy and some space. You know, living in a tiny rig is always a big life change for a lot of people. I work on a boat in Alaska during the summer, so I'm already pretty used to living in a tiny space. So it felt pretty normal for me moving into the truck, but it is pretty hard giving up, you know, like a nice bathroom that you can walk into and closets to store your stuff, and then having two people in such a small little space is definitely a bit of a challenge. We started out the trip too. We had one dog that we had picked up in Mexico previously, and in our 14 months of living on the road or whatever, we found 3 other dogs, pretty much all along the side of the road. Yeah, so it was our tiny space quickly got smaller as our little family grew. All right, so moving to the back of the rig here, got a whole bunch of stuff going on. We have propane mounts. This is just for the stove inside. I originally put on 2 mounts here, thinking we were going to spend a whole lot of time in Mexico, and finding propane and stuff can be really difficult. But man, the little tank there lasted for, I don't know, 3 months or 4 months of cooking. So I never even bothered sticking a second propane tank on here, but it is an option. I've got a ladder for accessing the roof if we wanted to throw anything up there, like stand-up paddle boards or whatever you want, clean off the solar panels. I got a Rotopax over there. That's the diesel tank for our little Chinese heater stove inside. Keeps us nice and warm. It's a 2-gallon tank, and it lasts for like 4 or 5 days at a time. Had another one on there, but it got jacked at some point, so that was kind of a bummer. Sliding down a little bit, we got our high lift jack and a shovel, our recovery tools, mostly for working on the truck, and then for our toilet was the shovels primary usage. Moving along the side here, this is our water heater that I talked about inside that runs off of coolant. It also hooks into propane, but we never saw the usage for it, and we wanted to conserve our propane, so we never even hooked that up to the propane. It just runs off of coolant. Along the side you can see 2 fuel tank fills. I combined 2 Jeeps at this point, and the newer one had a rear tank, and so I added that to the truck. So it's got 2 tanks. The original Comanche tank actually isn't plumbed right now, but it's mounted on there. So right now I have 22 gallons of fuel, and with that other tank I'd have like 47 gallons of fuel, something like that. So front of the rig here, built a custom front bumper here, got some cheap LED lights on the front. Those are pretty nice for when it's dark. I have a winch on there. That's, man, I always recommend throwing a winch on your rig if you can. Just get one of the cheap ones from Harbor Freight. $400 for a winch is a whole lot cheaper than calling a tow truck out into the middle of nowhere. So it will save you money in the long run. We used it a whole bunch for pulling ourselves out of places and then just finding cars stuck on the side of the road. We pulled a lot of people out. Yeah, we got an antenna here. This actually isn't hooked into anything. It's just the same height as the rig. So we know if we're going into a parking garage or going under branches or whatever, we know that as long as the antenna doesn't get caught, then we're clear and it won't rip off the solar panels. Built some custom sliders slash steps slash camper tie-in slash roof rack thing going on here. The whole camper and cab are fixed together, and then the sliders welded to the frame and also bolted to the camper, so it's all one big rigid construction. We keep our spare tire up here. Got a little Pelican case over there for keeping more stuff, recovery straps and all sorts of fun stuff. We added some, I forget what these were off of, some like a Chevy truck or something, some wider mirrors, since the camper is a little bit wider than the Comanche. On the roof you can see the two 100-watt solar panels. I added those on a little bit later into the build, and they're super awesome. As long as you get a little bit of sun, you can just stay parked and keep your batteries topped up for forever, I guess. You can see our max air fan. A little bit about the camper itself. It's all made out of aluminum. I welded it in our driveway, and yeah, it was quite a fun project. I'm not a fabricator by trade. I threw on some frame stiffeners and all of the suspension, all the GP stuff. Took 2 or 3 months of working Monday through Friday, about 8 hours a day. So quite a bit of time involved. And then I started working on the camper itself. It took about 2.5 months to construct the box. So yeah, one of the things was the interior build. We did a really rough layout the first time and lived in it for a few months and then rebuilt it, which I highly suggest. Your original plans never seem to work exactly how you want them. So it's kind of fun to have a really rough, cheap layout and live in it and see what you like and what you don't like. One of the unique features of the camper itself was the door. It's kind of this airplane style door with the built-in steps. You can close it. I get a lot of questions about that. It's kind of nice. We have a little electric lock here on the outside, so we can throw all our stuff in and then go on a hike and still be able to unlock it and get back in. Kind of nice. It gives you a little bit of rain shelter as you're going in and out. And then yeah, the steps are pretty key because it's a pretty tall entryway. We also have an exterior shower here. Pretty nice to use. My original plan was to put a shower curtain around the door here and then you could take a shower. Never got around to building the shower curtain, but whatever. We also have a solar light on the outside. You can turn that to be a motion detector or just on or off or whatever you want. And that's really nice for getting out in the middle of the night for bathroom runs. I get a lot of people asking about building the rig, and I'm all for building something yourself. It's a rewarding process of building out something yourself, and I highly suggest doing it. If you want to ask me questions about it, you can look up on my Instagram, which I'm sure there'll be a link to. Yeah, send me messages, ask me questions about how to do it or whatnot. My biggest advice is just to go for it. You're gonna learn a whole lot and probably make a whole bunch of mistakes, but it's super fun and rewarding and kind of cool to live in something that's totally unique to yourself and what you built. All right, thanks for coming and checking out the rig with me. If you want to follow more, you can always check out my Instagram. It's sasquatch.the.nomad. Send me messages, ask me questions. I love talking about building rigs and the experiences. Hopefully I'll see you guys out there. If you come through Bend, hit me up. We can meet up, and otherwise, yeah, see you on the road.